Hello, my dear sisters. Happy day to you. I am beaming in today to expand on this conversation around irregularities in our menstrual cycle that many women are experiencing today. So in this video specifically, I want to open up the conversation to the many inquiries I've received and I've seen on blog posts and social media posts around the possible effect of the COVID vaccine, either that receiving it or being in contact with someone that has received it on our menstrual cycle. Okay, so for kind of the broader and deeper messaging around the changes, the natural changes in our menstrual cycle, please view my last video. I'll leave a link below as I'll be speaking specifically now to this, how the lensing of the blood mysteries on this query of the vaccine and possible effects, right? So from a medical standpoint, again, I have a background in nurse midwifery, and as a nurse for many years. Doesn't make me an expert, but it does give me a solid basis on biology. At least for the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, because it is new technology, there isn't data that suggests that it is causing menstrual irregularities. There's a lot of talk of shedding. Now, some vaccines that have been used in the past do shed. These vaccines, because again, Moderna, Pfizer have a new technology, so they cannot shed in the way that other vaccines shed. Now, the reality is that the fact that it doesn't shed that way doesn't mean that there might not be an effect, okay? So the reality is we don't know, no matter where you are in the spectrum, right? Be it that you are supporting vaccines or not supporting vaccines, whether this feels an alignment to you or it doesn't in your individual life, right? The reality is that we don't know, right? The fact that there is no kind of science linking these two, that's the reality. There is no science linking this two. Right now we have vaccines, and we have the reality that a lot of women are reporting changes in their menstrual cycle, right? Can this be a cause and effect relationship? It's a possibility. The reality is we don't know. If we look at our last video, you'll see that there are many reasons why this can be happening and is probably happening at this time. That being said, again, there is not enough data. This is so new. And the fact that as scientists aren't seeing that relationship doesn't mean it exists or that it doesn't exist. So repeating myself, we don't know, okay? There is no way of truly knowing, right? If it is having an effect at this point from a data standpoint, right? And again, even though there are no clear mechanisms, that may mean that there is no relationship, but it can also mean there's a relationship there that we are just not seeing because we don't know what to look for or how to look for it yet, okay? So basically, this leaves us with the reality that we're right back where we have been for the past year or so. The initiation here is not about the vaccine or not the vaccine. The initiation here is that we are, as a collective, being plunged into a state of unknown, right? For the evolution of our consciousness. We are being, the question here is actually, where am I sourcing my truth from? Right? And there is this invitation to shift from sourcing your truth externally to sourcing your truth internally, which again doesn't mean you might not read or listen to others' opinions, but ultimately is coming back into your own body and finding what is truth for you and what is wisdom for your own body. Okay. And deeper still, right? So that's the first invitation that this apparent dilemma of the COVID vaccine and its possible effects on the female body is having, right? There is that, and the other part that I really want us to grok and see, right, is that at essence, as women, and this is part of the core of the feminine mysteries and the blood mysteries temple, is we are here to birth new realities, right? We are here to birth new realities through our feminine bodies. We cannot do that from the old, right? And if you allow yourself to, for a moment, raise your point of perspective and look at kind of the eagle's view, right? At what is happening with this specific topic, be it that you are pro the vaccine or you are against the vaccine. That's not the point, right? The reality here is that we are playing out as women around our bodies, once again, this polarity of fear and separation amongst ourselves, right? And that's the true initiation, right? Can we change the kind of obsessive lens of the fear of being, you know, manipulated by authorities or force being into decisions, or the fear of, you know, people doing irresponsible things and putting at risk my health and the health of my family? Can we step away from all that, these places where we go into us and them, and I'm right, you're wrong, right? And rise above that for a moment, right? And see how we can navigate these questions from a place of unity and a place of love and a place of embrace, right? From this place where we can acknowledge that there is no known right now in the world, right? There is no one authority. We are forced to look within ourselves, right? And we know that the truth for one being may not be the truth for somebody else. We're being invited to understand that there's the double invitation of feeling into what's right for me, for my body, for my family, what feels true and aligned, not from a place of fear, but a place of love. What's the loving action toward my body? From what standpoint am I choosing to live my life, right? While simultaneously holding the reality that that truth might be different for the person right next to me. Can we simultaneously hold those things? And can we really, truly, please, dear sister, step away from the polarity of the us, them, right? Of using our bodies as another excuse to create separation, okay? So is the COVID vaccine causing menstrual irregularities? We don't really know, right? I'm inviting you to make the choice that feels most aligned from your body, but to really, really be mindful of where you're operating from fear, be it in one way or the other. Fear is the tool of separation, and we already know what separation has created on the planet. If we're going to birth something new, we can't keep operating from that. This vaccine dilemma is just one more iteration of what we've been doing for millennia. Yeah, be it around race, be it around religion, be it around, you know, gender, right? Again, us, them mentality. I'm right, you're wrong. Right? We all have to have the same truth. How can we step above that, right? And that can be a moment by moment thing. I know this can feel sometimes a little kind of esoteric, but I'm just to be really transparent, I'm living this within my own household, right? And again, I'm speaking for myself. What's my truth doesn't have to be your truth. I'm just placing this as an example to show you how I'm navigating this within my life. I have not received the vaccine, and I do not wish to receive it. I don't wish my child to receive it, right? I am self-contained. I'm not a danger to anybody. I'm very responsible out there, and I trust my immune system. I really do not want to insert anything external into my body, right? Because that's what feels true in alignment for me, right? As a nurse, I've been exposed to thousands and thousands of things, and I know how my body functions, and I trust her ability to navigate this. Now that's my truth, right? And for me, the idea of inserting something that, again, we don't know nothing about, and because, again, I have healthy children, so I have a sense of trust in their bodies and their capacity to respond, which might be completely different for another family or another child, right? I feel the risk of inserting something we know nothing about, right? A very short-term data is too great for the possible benefit. Again, because I have healthy children, with healthy immune systems, and we're homeschooling, we live a pretty sheltered life, right? That being said, my husband does not feel the same, right? And for him, the vaccine brings a sense of security and control that he needs to function in the world. And I cannot impose my point of view on someone else, right? What's wisdom for me might not be wisdom for him. You know, he's an adult, he's a sovereign being, he reads the data and he's making a choice that feels relevant for him, right? How can I hold my position and allow him to hold his, right? I have a son that chose to have the vaccine too, since he's older. Not my choice as a mama. You asked me personally, and I would never not have done it, not have given it to him, right? But he wants to go to Boy Scout camp, and that was really important to him. And you know, again, sovereign being, he knows the pros and cons. He listens to mom and dad and our different points of view. And there's a point where, as mama, as much as it pains me, I must allow for that personal choice and just trust, right? And because the bigger point here is I can enter into a power struggle. And again, I'm right, you're wrong, right? Or I can look toward what is bringing more unity into my family, right? What is bringing a state of more harmony and love? Because that's ultimately the alchemy we're creating. Right? How can we coexist in these different points? And we know this in the symphony, right? There are different notes that can be seen as opposites, but when they come together, they create a harmonic whole, right? So what if all these different perspectives and all these different choices, again, as a humanity, are bringing us in a certain direction? And you're just charged with the note that you're here to carry and the point of view that you're here to carry, right? So that's how I am navigating it, right? And of course, there are natural remedies that can help protect you on both sides of the spectrum. So there's all these beautiful resources you can use to support that help me navigate this out, again, from my personal viewpoint, to feel that I'm protecting myself and my family. I have noticed no changes, right, from this pandemic through my cycle, right? Being that said, though, I've been deep in the blood mysteries for a very long time. And I feel a deep part of what is happening around feminine menstrual cycles isn't necessarily, I mean, it could be related to the vaccine, we don't know. But more than not, we are increasingly being showered with more and more energy and light. As a humanity, we're being accelerating. We're being asked to awaken, and that awakening happens within the body, right? And again, our feminine power comes from the womb and our connection to the force of life that flows through us. That's one of the parts that's been most shut off since, patriarchal times. So it is only natural that as we begin to awaken, she begins to speak out so that we may pay attention, actually access her medicine. So please listen to the other video if you haven't already, in terms of, those changes and the wisdom of the body and stepping into trusting the body. And again, bottom line, dear sisters, the initiation more than anything else here, from where I'm standing and sitting right here on rocks and grass, and I hear it shouted out from the depths of Mama Earth, is that what we need here is to step out of fear, to step out of separation, and find our way into unity. And in her quality of embrace. Now, what that looks like for each one of you is going to be slightly different. And again, finding that point of balance, that point of unity is not easy, especially in a society that is rife with fear and separation. Right? But that's where we as women are being called to really bring in our power of awareness and discernment, to cut through it like a knife. Today in the Mayan calendar, it is Eight Tihash, or Etzna, which is the obsidian blade. She's the healer that cuts away, right? What is illusion, what is stagnant, what is keeping us from wholeness, right? So I'm asking you today, to wherever you stand on this spectrum of what is truth for you around the vaccine, what is truth for you around COVID, to cut away fear and to cut away separation and to open to the possibility that we can hold all this from a place of unity consciousness, right? From a place of multiple truths that are all adding up to a whole that is a wave that's taking us to a new place, right? That again, we can continue to live our lives from separation. We know where that leads us, right? Or we can really be those, the activists that our heart wishes for. The agents of the new earth means we need to walk through these issues, through life from a different paradigm, right? So really asking you to weed out any places where you are in that dynamic of us, them, right, wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, right? And expanding into the possibility where we can hold all of it. All right. So I hope that is helpful, dear sisters. And I'd love to hear your comment, your experiences. Has your cycle changed? Where you're at with this dilemma of COVID and the vaccine, but specifically from this point of how it's weeding out the polarity mentality, right? Duality mentality, and this invitation of how we can step into deeper and deeper unity, because that's at the core of the womb wisdom, right? The womb holds the frequency of unity, of bringing all into oneness. And that, again, is what we're charged with. We cannot keep birthing the same. And for that to change, we must begin to make choices to see the world and live our lives from a different standpoint. All right, loves. All my love, many blessings. And I would love to hear from you where you're at, how this lands, and what's being activated within you. Many blessings, and I will see you in the next video.